Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day. Cast your vote.
5.
Why?
Just easier, no?
Just easier, yes.
Yeah, it's just easier to define
All right, we'll accept that.
Okay.
Anything
so,
else?
Yep. So I wanted to discuss the concept called love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
Yes.
All right. There is a concept called love before first sight, but we'll stick with what you are offering.
It's here and now, right? Here and now, it's love at
Here and
first
now.
sight. So I've experienced that,
Yes, all right.
and it's one of the most exciting aspects of life, you could say.
Yes.
Though it doesn't always end happily.
Stop right there for one
Okay.
moment. Notice the contradictory definitions creeping in.
Yeah.
It's one of the most exciting experiences in life, although... And then you shift to the other side with a definition that has absolutely nothing at all to do with the definition you just gave. So it is one of the most exciting things you can experience in life, period.
Okay.
The although is a completely different definition of something else altogether and has nothing to do with love at first sight. Do you see how you're doing that? You're actually taking one thing and making an association to something completely different that you have no business making an association to, from this concept to that one. Each of these is its own concept. Love at first sight, one of the most exciting things you can experience in life. Period. Now, if you're going to go and explore something else that you don't prefer, that's what you're doing. But it has nothing at all to do with the effect that love at first sight being exciting has in your life. One does not lead to the other. They are completely separate ideas, completely separate definitions, and completely separate realities that you're describing here. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's not this, although, or but. It's this and that. Which do you prefer?
Well, I prefer to keep it, simple.
Then stay in the vibration of love at first sight, regardless of the outcome. Did we not just define the entire formula as having absolutely no insistence on a particular outcome to justify the state? You do not need a particular outcome to justify your preferred state. Circumstances do not matter. Only state of being does. Do you understand this?
Okay.
Okay, not really, but okay.
So let me follow up on this.
By all means.
Okay, so
Love at first sight.
Okay, so it happened,
Yes.
and I decided to act upon it
All right, to the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability.
With no assumption of the outcome.
Okay.
If you didn't do it that way, you didn't follow the formula for excitement.
Okay, so I did my best to avoid having any assumptions.
But,
Just having the experience of love at first sight
yes,
implies something,
implies what?
some hidden reality or some kind of connection that's supposed to
Yes.
be there.
But don't have an assumption as to what that connection means.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't have an assumption as to how that connection needs to play out. Love at first sight can happen for a number of different reasons.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it has to play out a certain way.
So
Sometimes your excitement will lead you in a certain direction simply because that's the direction in which it will serve you best to be led, but that has nothing at all to do with the style in which you are led.
Okay, so it's
You
basically
understand?
to push. It could be just to push me forward in a
It
direction.
could be just for that. It could be that you have to develop a different kind of relationship with the person that you have fallen in love with, other than assuming that it must play out this way or that way. Let it be what it is. Let it be the reflection it needs to be to teach you how to be more of yourself, because that's what relationships are for anyway. And support the other in allowing them to be whatever it is they truly prefer to be, because again, that's what relationships are for. Don't assume that just because you fall in love with someone that it has to play out in a certain societal way. It may have nothing at all to do with that in terms of why that connection exists. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But whatever it is will be what serves you best if you allow it to, instead of putting those assumptions in the way of letting it do its job for you. letting it be there for the real reason it is there, instead of for the reason that your mind insists it must be there. Because it has all these ideas that if it's not there for that reason that I've been taught it should be there, then somehow I'm going to be missing something, I'm going to be deprived of something, something's going to go wrong, I'm going to miss out. Who says? Let it be what it is, because whatever it is what serves you best. Don't impose conditions upon it to the degree that prevents you from really understanding why it really happened. Because it may have happened for an idea or a reason that you have absolutely no cognition of at this particular moment. So use it for what it is, trust it for what it gives you at that moment, experience what is happening, and forget about the idea of predicting what will happen, because your physical mind isn't capable of doing that. Only the higher mind knows how something's going to unfold. The physical mind only knows what's happening in front of it.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Is this helping you?
It does help me, yeah.
Are you feeling a little lighter?
Yeah, I am.
Are you feeling a little bit more in love with yourself? Because that's actually the first sight. If you're not in love with yourself, you can't really be in love with anything else. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because everything else is you, is a reflection of you. And if you insist that something, a reflection you're getting is somehow wrong and doesn't fit, you're actually rejecting a part of yourself that you need to understand. So if you're in love with yourself, and I don't mean in a narcissistic way, if you're in love with yourself, you will accept that whatever is going on in the way that it's unfolding has some information for you. Again, it doesn't mean that you cannot converse and you cannot explore the possibility of allowing things to change in a certain direction, but you can do that without any insistence that they must change in that direction. You can always explore the possibilities, but then it's up to you to accept whatever it is that does play out as what needed to play out for the benefit of all concerned, not just one side or the other in a relationship. Sometimes being in love with someone means that the best thing may be that you are not necessarily in love in a traditional way. It may mean many other things. Let it be what it naturally needs to be to support everyone in the relationship. And trust that the way it plays out is the way that serves you best as well. Does this make sense?
What is an untraditional way?
When we talk about the idea of traditional ways on your planet, the idea is that someone usually on your planet assumes traditionally that if they fall in love with someone, it must lead to a particular kind of ritualistic marriage, and so on and so forth. It may not. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Does this help you?
it does.
All right. It may lead to that, but why don't you just find out if that's what's natural, instead of insisting on that having to be the way it must play out? Make sense?
Yes.
Take a deep breath. And let it out. And relax. Let your life unfold in a natural way. Your life already works. You've already made all the appointments and all the agreements and all the marriages that you need to make. Just let them unfold naturally. The only way to miss an appointment is to spend your life worrying that you have missed the appointment. That's the paradox. If you stop worrying that you're going to miss an appointment, you cannot miss an appointment that you've made. Because your life will unfold and everything will happen in perfect timing. Trust the timing. All right?
All right.
Does this help you?
It does. Can I ask another question?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I want to ask about I recently moved to San Francisco.
All right.
One of the
Speak up so that all may hear you.
Okay. One of the things that stand out in San Francisco, in my area, is the homeless people living in the street.
Yes.
I was, every time I come across a homeless person,
yes,
or some, it makes me feel instantly, bad, basically.
Why?
For a number of reasons. First
well,
of all,
give me one.
First of all, I'm not sure what's the best way to assist homeless.
Well, you can ask them, perhaps. You can engage them in dialogue, find out why they are choosing what they're choosing. Offer them the opportunity to know that there may be other choices that they can make, but also accept the fact that some of them, not all of them, but some of them will continue to choose what seems unfathomable to you as a choice, that they should remain homeless.
Is there, so in your view, how would you?
I just told you.
I mean, how, as a collective
I just told you.
Okay.
Engage people, commune with them, converse with them, find out why they are making the choices they are making based on the beliefs they're holding to be true for themselves. And then, after you offer them an opportunity to recognize that there may be other choices they could make, you must allow them to make the choices that they choose. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you can do. Offer them an opportunity to recognize there may be other ways of going about things, other choices that could be made based on their belief systems, other beliefs they could buy into. But then you have to allow them to choose what they choose. End of story. That's the only way you can really help. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because believe it or not, many of those people have made choices based on their own fears, and actually, in some sense, because of their belief system, prefer to be that way for one reason or another. Some people who are, as you say, out on the street, in some way prefer that because then they have a belief that if they are in some way, shape, or form part of society, they are under someone's thumb or under control. Whereas being out on the street, they are free to be who they wish to be. Now, that doesn't mean they have to experience freedom that way, but that may simply be the basis of their belief system, creating the choices that they are making and creating the results that you're experiencing. But if you explore that with them and allow them the opportunity to find out if there is another way they could go about experiencing freedom, to use this example, then perhaps they don't necessarily have to divest themselves of all physiological objects in order to experience that idea. But if they still choose to buy into the idea, in whatever way, shape, or form they have chosen it, whether for positive or negative reasons, you have to allow them their choices. Yes?
Yeah.
You want them to allow you your choices, yes?
Yeah.
So you have to allow them their choices too. It's a two-way street. But you can explore with them if you wish. Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Remember also that there are different perspectives on this idea. A person wandering around without necessarily inhabiting a house may simply feel that the entire planet is their home. And that you living in a house are the homeless one. Because you have cut yourself off from the rest of the world by surrounding yourself with walls. So it's a matter of perspective. Give yourself the opportunity to find out exactly what each perspective is before you assume a negative